Okay, let's see what we can do here. Man, I'm just really not liking what we're having here. Maybe if I move something over here and then we can fix that point right there, we should be honky-dory. Oh my god, it's a spider! No, please don't bite me! Ouch! Ah, damn it! Oh, that really hurt. I should probably go to the hospital. Wait a minute. This could be a radioactive spider. Or just a regular spider that's gonna kill me. No! It's a radioactive spider! It's my turn to become the new spider! Hey everyone, and another happy lazy Sunday to you, my lovely weekend warriors. I hope the weekend has been good to y'all, and if not, sit back, relax, and let me entertain you for a moment. So this weekend's movie had a lot to live up to, with it being the first Marvel movie after the epic and soul-crushing masterpiece that was Avengers Endgame. And just a little warning before we get into this one, there will be heavy spoilers for Avengers Endgame, as this movie does take place right after it, and a lot of those plot details kind of bleed into this one, so if you have not seen Avengers Endgame,
then you can get it!
Spider-Man Far From Home, starring Tom Holland, Jake Gyllenhaal, the lovely Zendaya. Wait a minute, she only has one name?
Who are you, Seal?
Also featuring Jacob Batalon, Marisa Tomei, Cobie Smulders, Samuel L. Jackson, and Jon Favreau as Happy Hogan. You know, Tony Stark's assistant. Or, I mean, at least he used to be. So now the world is moving on after the Avengers defeated Thanos and brought back all who were dusted away by the snap. With things quiet, Peter now is able to go back to being New York's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but he feels like he needs a vacation. Well, luckily for him, his school's decathlon team is going on a European vacation, and Peter sees this as an opportunity to take some time off and also focus on MJ. But there's no rest for the wicked, as Nick Fury follows Peter to his European vacation as he needs his help with some major baddies, because you know, superheroes, they just can't clock out. This isn't some cushy 9-to-5 job where you can work X amount of hours, building up your 401k and finally retire on the beach somewhere. You've got lives to save, mister! Well, Peter is the only one who can help us, as many of our Avengers have left or, died. I will remember! Peter now has to save his classmate's vacation while also trying to figure out who this new mysterious newcomer is. Oh my god, I am so glad Sony and Disney worked out their differences so we can have Spider-Man portrayed right. Because the first of the MCU Spider-Man movies, Homecoming, was such a blast, and Tom Holland is the quintessential Spider-Man. So, f*** you, Maguire and Garfield. Just kidding, you guys, I still love you, but come on, Tom Holland is killer in the role. And I was excited to see a sequel, but could Far From Home live up to the first one? Well, let's get into the positives, and it turned out to be a pretty decent movie. I mean, come on, I know I've already said this, but we all know Tom Holland was born to play this role, as he just keeps bringing to life this lovable, quirky, and awkward teen Spider-Man that the world has just fallen in love with. Because we get to watch him grow. In the first one, Peter learns what New York expects of Spider-Man, but now it's time for him to learn what the world wants from Spider-Man, and Tom Holland really plays with that idea, which makes for some really touching scenes of emotional triumph. I also like that we get to spend more time with the fun and wacky teens from Peter's high school. There was a lot of funny and adorable moments that came from these youngsters, especially between MJ and Peter, because there's this nice little romance that is brewing between these two, and I really liked it. It was super cute to watch these two go through the usual awkward moments of trying to get to learn what each other likes, and they both play it really well, because we all know you really love each other in real life, so stop lying to yourself, because you can't fight this feeling anymore. I forgot what I started fighting for. And of course, we gotta talk about the action, as there are some really cool action sequences in this one. They really outdid themselves in the first one, because Peter really pushes his abilities to higher levels than he ever has before, because he now doesn't have anyone to bail him out. He pretty much has to take everything on somewhat by himself. There was this really cool scene that I can't get into without giving up spoilers, but he really flexes his abilities, and I kind of like how they shot that part. Just the way the camera flows through the action really makes you feel like you're there in that moment. And it just is one of those things that really puts a smile on my face. Let's get into the issues I had with this film. And it was kind of tough for me to really grind down how I felt about this movie. So as I mentioned on one of my posts, I actually had to watch this movie twice because upon first viewing, I was really underwhelmed. And well, to be fair to the movie, I had work at 6 in the morning and ended up watching it at midnight, so I was kind of half asleep. And I watched it a second time to see if I still felt the same way. And unfortunately, I still did. Now let's start with the humor, which I said there are a lot of funny moments in this movie, but for the most part, there was a lot of it that just didn't work for me, especially from these two teachers, played by Martin Starr and JB Smoove. They played the most cliche and predictable types of teachers you'll ever see. Oh, you know, just being somewhat dim-witted and incompetent people, where everything is one of those womp womp moments, and it really didn't make me laugh. It just made me not want to watch these two guys. Also, the romance between MJ and Peter, which kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, it was really cute, but where did he develop these feelings? Because, I mean, he was all about Liz in the first movie, and then we get here, and he's head over heels in love with MJ, and it makes me really wonder where these feelings came from, because he never mentioned anything in Homecoming, Infinity War, or even Endgame. So to come into this movie where he went from 0 to 100 real quick just didn't make any sense, and we would have really loved some type of progression to happen so that way we could really root for these two to want to get together. And I felt Zendaya was really watered down in this movie because I really liked what she did in the first movie where she was kind of awkward, but she didn't give a when anyone thought about what she said. Kind of like this moment.
You guys
right
are at
here.
this lame party.
You're here too.
Am I?
But here in this movie, I just felt she was being awkward for awkward's sake, and she just lost a lot of that savagery she had in the first movie, which I kind of missed. And finally, my man, Jake Gyllenhaal. For me, at the beginning, was a little bit lackluster for the first half, because I didn't see a character. At first, it was just pretty much Jake being Jake, and it made it really hard to like him at first, but when you shift to the second half, he gets really good at his role. And from the little I know about his character Mysterio, they do a good job with the character. But it's just that he also has like this expository scene that was just way too over the top for me, because they really went ham with it, and it just took me out of the movie because it was just so silly and weird to look at. So with all of that being said, I'm giving Spider-Man Far From Home a lower B. It was still very fun and satisfying, so if you liked Homecoming, you'll still be pleased in many ways with this one. But like I said, there was just a lot of the humor that didn't work for me, and I really wish that we kind of dug a little bit deeper into Spider-Man taking on the mantle of being the new top Avenger. And also spending more time on the relationship between MJ and Peter, because this is what we want. We want to see this progression, but rushing it just kind of makes the payoff less interesting. Oh, and before I forget, there are a couple of post-credit scenes. Now, the first one was really worth it, so I recommend you stay for that one. And the second one was interesting and a little bit confusing, but you know what? I'll go ahead and let you be the judge of that one. Well, that's it for the review, you guys, but let's talk about it. Did you see Spider-Man Far From Home? Did you like it, or did you also leave a little underwhelmed? Put your thoughts in the comment section down below, and it would also help this channel out if you give it a little bit of love by hitting that thumbs up button. And if you would like to see more of my videos, subscribe to my channel by clicking on that subscribe button, and you'll get notifications anytime I release a new review. Thank you guys again for joining me, and I hope you have an amazing rest of the weekend. I'll see you next time.
Hello, operator? We need help. Someone's trying to murder us.
Hello, operator? We need help. Someone's trying to murder us!
Okay.